Hello everybody and welcome back to Tree of Tranquility. A couple days on from where we had last left off, I've just decided that what the heck, we have way too much money and a lot of stuff to buy, so this is probably going to be just another sort of shopping episode where we just go pick up a couple of other things that we need to buy in order to expand onto the farm and to get more story progress going. I've chosen a Thursday because once again everything should be open on a Thursday. We shouldn't have any problems getting into all of the different stores that we're going to be visiting. You can see that my onions all came in and there's not enough time in the season to plant those again, so we're just going to finish up what we can with the corn and tomatoes before fall hits. I would fix my field, but I don't actually carry around my sickle and my axe with me because it takes up so much inventory space. And it's funny because last night before I went to bed, I actually went and I fixed this all up. And so these weeds grow ridiculously fast. And maybe if I plant more stuff or I move the fields around a little bit in fall, we won't have that problem so much. So what we're going to do today is we're going to buy an animal, and then I'm going to go over to the general store as well and do a little bit more spending there. So we might as well take the long way around to Brownie Ranch, seeing as how they're not going to be open for a little while. And so hopefully by the time we're all done today, our money will dwindle a little bit, but we should still have some left over. I think I've kind of got the hang of the whole money situation. Mining is pretty much the key, and that's most of what I do to gain money. And I still do have some stuff in my rucksack that I have to bring to Myra, so I should do that too before I forget. So I'll go ahead and just get everything refined here really quick, so that we can get some of our money spent today back tomorrow. And it's also probably going to be a good time for me to upgrade my tools again soon. I've only upgraded my hammer to silver, but there's no reason that I can't upgrade my watering can or my axe. I still have some silver bars at home, and it only costs, I think, 5,000 to upgrade to silver, which shouldn't be a problem for me. And we'll have to go to Souffle Farm at the beginning of fall to pick up our monthly assortment of seeds as well. And let's look at the animal selection. We have the barn and the coop, so we have free range of whatever animal it is that we want to buy. And I think we will get both a chicken and we'll get a lamb as well. We'll start to fill out both the coop and the barn. Now, the lamb is required for the story. You have to have a sheep. And a sheep is also good to have because its wool is useful for upgrading our rucksack later on in the game. So, we have to wait for the sheep to grow fully, but that shouldn't take too long. It's only going to take half a season, I think, and so by the middle of fall we should have a fully grown sheep that we can start to shear. So we'll start off with that in the barn, and we will also buy a chicken. Now we have to buy our first chicken because there's no way for us to put an egg in the incubator, but once we start having the chicken lay eggs, the chicken is a full adult, by the way. We don't have to buy a chick. We will have a chicken that we can actually start to get eggs from. You can put an egg in the incubator and you can get chickens that way if you're finding that the price of the chicken at the store here is too much to pay. It takes a little bit more time, but you can do it that way as well. And for now, until we spend more money at Brownie Ranch, we only have calves and silkworms available. later on in the game, Hannah will have more animals for us, but I think that's a good place to start. Now, we have a ton of animal feed for our sheep. You can see there we have 336 pieces of fodder, and I highly doubt that we're gonna run out of that at any point anytime soon, and so I'm not going to worry about buying fodder from Hannah, but what I am going to buy is I am going to buy bird seed from her. So keep in mind too, when you have birds, fodder is pretty easy to make because you can just chop down the field that the animals graze on, but for the feed, it's actually not possible to make feed in this game, to my knowledge, at least. We'll just start off with 30 feed. That should be plenty for one chicken, so don't have to worry about running out of food for a little while. And for our sheep, it's going to be a good idea, obviously, to get shears so that we can shear it when it gets to be an adult, and a brush is also a good idea. Now, because it takes half a season for your sheep to grow up, you don't have to worry about buying the shears right away. You can buy them later on if you don't have the money. They'll always be here. You can just kind of buy that at your own pace. But I'm going to buy it now, just while I'm here. Alright, so now that we have all that, we should have all those animals back home, and we can start putting the animal care into our daily routine. Pick up a couple things off the ground here to ship those, and then we will head into Waffle Town and go pay Simon a visit. All of that in total cost about $10,000, and I still have $20,000 to spend. So as you can see, once you start making money and you start sort of planning what it is that you want to buy, it becomes very easy to save for all the different things you want. I've also thought that it might be a fun idea down the line to buy a piece of land from Town Hall and use that as an area to plant trees on, just to get some additional money from fruit and whatnot. So that might be something fun to do down the line. At the moment though, what we are looking for is we are looking for some makers. Here you can see that Simon has a large list of makers here for us, and what we want to buy is the yarn maker. And again, this is something that is almost a necessity, not only for one of our rainbow recipes, but we're going to need yarn later on for some rucksack upgrades. It is the most expensive of all the makers, but if you have the money, I'd recommend buying that as soon as you can, just so you have it out of the way. And then of course we have all of these additional makers that we could buy if we wanted to. Obviously we don't have a cow, so a cheese and a butter maker really isn't necessary at this moment, but if we wanted to buy a mayonnaise maker, we could. And don't forget too that I still have a ton of cooking utensils to buy. I still have all of these to buy so I can start doing my cooking. So I'm definitely not running out of stuff to spend my money on quite yet. So that was pretty much the spending that I wanted to do today. And I mostly just bought all that stuff to get set up for our next rainbow recipe, and to sort of just once again add on to the farm and add on to the whole experience of this game of not only taking care of crops but also taking care of animals and whatnot. And you also need to spend money at all of the different stores in order to get new products. So if I'm not buying animals from Hannah's, then I'm never going to get the opportunity to see what other animals that will be offered to us later on. All of this traveling, of course, takes up a lot of time, so I figured this would just be another day where not really going to do any serious money making. I'm just going to sort of do a bit of scavenging and the stuff I had in my rucksack to get refined from Myra is definitely going to help. So let's go back to our place and we can check out our new additions. Now it is of course a very beautiful and sunny day, and so we should probably let the animals out for the remainder of the day so that they can graze. Of course, when your animals graze, you also don't have to feed them. You can save on the feed and fodder. It will let out all your animals at once by ringing that bell. So you can see that both the chicken and the sheep are both out here. So they get to enjoy the nice sunshine, they get to eat outside. And I do like this feature. I do like that this game doesn't have the annoying feature where you have to individually push all the animals into the barn one by one, because that gets awfully irritating when you have a ton of animals. And so I find that this game actually has a really convenient and very easy system in place to take care of animals and to get them in and out of the barn, which is really great. And it's nice that they have their own little space to, again, it is a little bit weird to me that it's a little bit off of my property and whatnot, but now that they're out here and now that this is all sort of set up, it is sort of nice, isn't it? They have their own little area here. I still have tons of places to grow my crops, and they all have their own individual little places to live, so that's great. For now, I'll go ahead and I'll just store the brush and the shears until I need them at a later date. I'm gonna put the sickle and the axe in my inventory here, and I'll go clean up my field a little bit. So it's gonna be great because now I'll still have money at the beginning of the month. I don't have to worry about not having money for seeds and whatnot. And I'll probably also have to spend some money on fertilizer because my OCD is killing me that the bell and the door to the barn and the coop are so very close to my crops. So I will probably end up moving all of these crops down and to the left, and I kind of plan on planting all of the crops sort of in this little corner here just to give the space. It just looks, it'll look like it'll have more space. It won't everything look so crowded, which is going to be really nice. And I don't know that we ever went into the animal barn, but as you can see, for a level 1 barn, you can actually keep 6 animals in here. So Dale was very gracious in the space that he built for us, which is very nice. And we have our yarn maker here, and we have our ostrich incubator, which is thrown in by default when you buy it. And our yarn maker also came with a dyeing pot, which allows us to dye balls of yarn, and that is right here. If we buy other makers, they'll of course show up in the shed as well. This is where we get our fodder from, and our sheep is going to be right there, so we can leave it some food in case it needs it. Now I think we were in the coop when it had been built. You can see it's a lot smaller, but to be fair, chickens are a lot smaller than barn animals. So for one chicken, this is going to be a nice little home for a chicken to live in. And this here is the incubator for regular eggs from regular chickens and ducks. And so we can also fill this up with 6 chickens also, I do believe. It looks like there's 6 spaces for food. So that's really fantastic. We don't have to worry about upgrading the barn or the coop for a long while if we really wanted to go crazy and we really wanted to start filling those up with lots of animals. So there you have it. That was kind of all the stuff I wanted to cover today, and that's going to be my last video for summer. Really excited to move on to a new season and to see what fall has to offer us. I think it's going to be really fun. And I can't believe that we're halfway through the year already. Where did the time go? I've been having a real blast with this Let's Play so far, and I hope you guys have too. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.